opportunities in consulting. I mean, as you get into your campus, you are always getting that buzz around a life of a consultant, a lifestyle of a consultant. What's the glamour all about? Today, we will explore both the professional as well as the personal aspects of consulting. And today, to do that, we have Brian Updike, who is partner at PwC Consulting. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
And thank you so much for joining us from US. I know this is pretty early for you. So thank you so much for joining us on this day.
It's my pleasure. Great to be with you. Thank you.
So I was asking you, Brian, that consultants directly interact with CXOs and the senior leadership, right? How do you explain the adrenaline rush for somebody who has directly joined from a B school in a consulting firm?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And one of the wonderful things about consulting is that everything that you do, the projects that we do tend to be very public. They tend to be the most important things on the agenda of the C-suite. And so I think for me, the thing that I love is seeing my work in action. I've talked to others who start a new company, and the first time that they see their product in the wild is an exciting moment. For me, it's an exciting moment when I see the work that we do being publicly recognized. I had one of the projects that we did recently to build a financial planning system for $100 billion plus company, and the CFO was interviewed by Forbes and referred specifically to our project, the impact on their business. That's exciting to me. And I think one of the things that differentiates a consultant, a great consultant, is that we get really excited for our client to take the credit for the work that we do. And we're very okay with the fact that we're not going to take the credit for a lot of that. And so I think it's an important aspect of humility and of the excitement of being in the consulting field.
Thank you so much. And also, consulting, though it becomes so aspirational for everybody, but the real question is that is everybody fit for a consultant role? And if they are not, or how should they identify that they are actually a consultant or they are fit for consulting?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the reality is that many of the roles that you take within consulting or even in industry, you're going to have some similar aspects of needing to solve problems. And for me, as a child, even growing up, as I looked at what I wanted to do with business, I wanted to go and solve problems. I wanted to go and try new things and be exposed to new things every day. And so those things fit very well for me personally. I think for a lot of people, those fit very well. There are some things that are quite challenging about working in the consulting world. You don't necessarily have a perfect org chart. And so in a company, I tend to work vertically. I have a boss and my boss has a boss, and we have a structure and a set of goals that are associated with that. As a consultant, we work horizontally across an organization, and we look at how we can bring different organizations within a business together. And so, I was visiting with somebody who had recently joined PwC through an acquisition not too long ago, and he said, "Who's my boss?" And I said, "Well, that's a good question." He says, "Is my coach my boss?" Because everybody has a coach. I said, "No, your coach is your coach. They're there to help you be successful." He said, "Is my relationship leader my boss?" I said, "Well, not really, because you're not necessarily going to be working for your relationship partner, but your relationship partner signs your check. So that's a very important relationship." But the reality is that sometimes you have 10 bosses, and sometimes you might feel like you have no bosses. And that level of unstructure and uncertainty is a wonderful place to thrive if it's something that you enjoy. It might not be something that you enjoy, and you might want to go to the office and have the same set of objectives or the same boss every day, and that's totally okay as well. So we have different personalities, but I think to be a great consultant, you'll find that working in an area that has less structure is something that's energizing and exciting to you. You'll probably find that even in school that you seek for those types of opportunities, and we look for people who are seeking out new problems to solve and new opportunities and to really grow your own way, because that's going to help you be successful within a consulting firm. I heard on the previous segment some questions about work-life balance and time management, and that's an important one. I agree wholeheartedly with the advice that was given, that it's your decision. Your ability to manage your time and to focus on things is really important.
But Brian, tell me something. I mean, majorly, as you get into that role, majority of the times you're traveling. I mean, before pandemic, people would have traveled. I know at Deloitte, we used to travel Monday to Thursday and then Friday in office and then the weekend off, right? And there used to be very, very meaningful and impactful conversations that used to happen in person when you're interacting with the client, when you're engaging, exchanging words or so. Has pandemic impacted those effectiveness of those meetings, or the virtual meetings are good to go? They are as same as what they used to be in person?
Yeah, great question. I don't believe we'll ever completely replace the human connection of talking to somebody face to face and of having the meeting after the meeting that typically happens. What has been interesting in this pandemic environment, this virtual environment, is that different skills from different people and different even communication styles have become more important because we're fully in a virtual world. The capabilities that make people successful have changed. And so my client values much more today the written communication, the document that I send them, because they know that I'm not going to be there all the time, and my consultants aren't going to be there all the time. They value the way that we use our time within a more structured meeting, and those things are important. One of the wonderful things that has come from working in a virtual environment is that for me, I have a U.S. based team that sometimes is in person and sometimes is virtual. I have an India-based team, a large group of people that are based in Bangalore that I work with on a regular basis. And before, we had to fly somebody over the ocean for them to be able to come to a meeting. Well, now I have people on my team who are filling significant client-facing leadership roles from India or from the United Kingdom or from South America. My client doesn't know the difference. They don't care. What they care is that we have the right person in the room to have the right conversation. And so the opportunities that that's opened up for us has been really significant. Even just to have a subject matter expert come to a specific meeting to talk about a specific thing. It used to be, 3 hours to fly in, a hotel room, 3 hours to fly out, and it was difficult to bring the right group of people together. We don't have that problem anymore, and our clients don't have that expectation. So I'd say the in-person aspect of our work will never go away, but the Monday to Thursday every week, our clients aren't asking for that anymore. They recognize that it's a cost both in time and in money, and they're more comfortable with this environment like you and me.
So I think the pandemic what it would do is not eliminate that completely, but probably optimize costs for both the parties, and maybe the work options.
Well, it's forced us to optimize this type of communication and to feel intimate in this type of communication, intimate and personal, in a way that we just didn't force ourselves to do before. And I think it's a wonderful thing.
Sure. Brian, the other thing is why consulting is also aspirational, because during the B school life itself, they hear about exits. So if you have been a consultant for maybe 4 to 5 years or maybe 3 years, right, you can actually eye a good exit for a leadership role in some other companies. Now, startups are preferring consultants, right, who can actually come in and directly start at a leadership level and manage their verticals at one go. So just wanted to understand how true is it, and is that also impacting the consulting industry as a whole?
Yeah, so you mentioned a few of them. The great thing about this type of work is that you're constantly being faced with problems to solve, and you're constantly being faced with problems that require not just an intellectual solution, but a cross-functional solution. You're selling your ideas, you're working across different functional areas and businesses at your clients. So I focus on the CFO space. I work primarily with CFOs and people that are in the CFO organization. But I also work extensively with IT because we have all of our solutions are technology enabled. I work extensively with the other functions of the organization, with marketing and with the product owners, because I focus on pricing and how we can provide advantageous or work with our clients to develop advantageous pricing scenarios. So we're always working across functions. For me, the goal was I want to be able to prepare myself to be a great CFO or to be a great partner in a consulting firm. The great thing was that the things that I needed to do to be a great partner in a consulting firm were the same things I needed to do to be a great CFO. If I chose to leave, my choice was to stay, but I have great friends who have chosen to leave to go to a startup or to go play a significant finance transformation role in an organization. I will say that if you really purposefully find work that you're passionate about and where you can bring an intellectual skill set, but also a personal passion, then you'll have lots of opportunities to do other good work if you choose to leave.
Also, I think the students would also be interested to know in the consulting domain, if you go and hire from a B school, do you prefer freshers over work experience candidates or work experience candidates over fresher or no priority at all?
Yeah, it's a great question. We desperately need both. The diversity of ideas is really, really important. I came on as a fresher, and I've been a lifetime PwC employee and worker. That's been refreshing for me. And because of that experience, I have the ability to take 14 years of experience at the same company and pull together ideas from different parts of PwC. I understand how PwC works. We also really need fresh ideas with good work experience to come in and help us think about new ways of working and new ways to solve problems. So both are super important.
I mean, even if I extend this question to a complete diversity, right? Freshers, work ex, males versus females, ethnic backgrounds, education backgrounds. I think as a consulting firm, you need fresh minds from all these areas, right? And when you're putting across a team for a project, do you also have diversity aspects in mind when you're putting across a team apart from their skill sets?
It's interesting you asked that. Absolutely. We don't have obviously a specific quota that we're looking for. In our hiring, we do often target specific diverse groups because it's so important from a business perspective and because it's the right thing to do. If you go online and you want to check out CEO Action for Diversity, you'll see some of the things that we've done with other CEOs of companies to make sure that everybody's on board with this. But when I select a team, I always joke that if you watch the movie Mission Impossible, I think of selecting my team like the movie Mission Impossible. I need my bombs expert, I need my logistics expert, etc. When I form a team similarly, I'm looking to get that diversity of experience, both in capability as well as gender diversity and cultural diversity, because I need different ideas, and also because my client is diverse. And my client who's diverse is looking for a team that has similar and different experiences to bring to bear. It always feels uncomfortable, and sometimes it happens. It feels uncomfortable to me if I go to a pitch or to a client meeting with a team that doesn't have a diverse set of backgrounds, and I know that my client is thinking that this is a problem, right? They're going to bring a unitary solution because clearly they haven't brought a diverse team. And so it's an important part of the way that we form the work that we do.
Sure. And my last question to you, Brian, what is that one thing that all the B schoolers should do in their MBA life? Just one thing.
Yeah, just do something different. I ask a question in my interviews in different ways, but what I'm really asking is, can you take an unstructured problem and put structure to it? And so find something to do that's not what all of your friends and those around you are doing. I found a lot of excitement when I was in B school working with the microfinance organizations. The university that I went to was innovative in microfinance. It gave me the opportunity to work with leaders in the space and to go do grunt work to help prepare events and things. But I learned a lot and I got to solve problems, and it was something that was outside of the opportunities that were given to me. So just find something to do that's outside of what everybody else is doing and the opportunities that are given to you so that you can be original.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us this early from US. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure all our users have found this session basically on consulting very, very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.